Tales from the Gemini. That was Prince. And wouldn't you love to love me? I love that. So I love anything that sounds so. It gets you up, man. It makes you feel good. You know, it's kind of gray and cloudy here in Indianapolis. A little cool. And I got this kid staring at me in this vehicle right in front of the studio. What are you doing? A kid staring at? I mean, kids can stare you down like nobody's business. You know. It goes. I mean, seriously, they don't have any, they don't know about like, hey, what the hell are you looking at? You know, they will look at you, they will stare you down like Kobe did in the fourth quarter. Like, Kobe, pass me the ball, and he would just look at you and take that 40-foot jumper with three people on him, like, Kobe, I'm open. Nah, it's all right. And he'll just shoot. That's what kids will look you up. They're the worst, man. They are. I mean, kids, they have that cold stare. It goes the Nazis in the 40s and then kids about as far as cold stares going and like terrifying you. Like the kid at our house, like I'll buy him gifts. Like if I get him a toy, he's happy for like 5 minutes, and then he'll go back to being a dick to me, like for the rest of the day. Like, didn't I just buy you a toy? And seriously, and he didn't understand that's how that works. Like, hey, I'm buying your affection. And so, and then he gets pissy and me, and then he'll throw the toy at me or whatever. And then I don't know. That's just kids for you, man. I do kind of respect that though. The fact they can look at you and stare you down. Like, I mean, like a wild animal does. Look at that kid. Look, just turn around. Just turn around right now and look at that kid right in their car right there. See that? Kids, you think a kid gets scared if I left here and took the headphones off and went up to him like, "What are you looking at?" You think that'll work? You think so? And just start like knocking on the window. Oh, that's two kids in that car. Okay, they think they can hear me. Oh, they can hear me though, right? I mean, they. Now I'm scared. I'm scared of a kid in a car. I'm scared what that kid might do to me. Well, yeah. Well, you never know. The white kids, they might call the cops, and then I get arrested on my own show. Wouldn't it be kind of fun? That'd be kind of great. That'd be a great episode. So they call the cops, and the kids came in, and yeah, I guess, kind of. I guess. Well, say what now? Yeah, yeah. The cop being called in. Hey, it's Salesman of Gemini, man. I'm so excited about today's episode. Before I bring my guest in, I've been watching a lot of movies. You know, I've always initially wanted to call this the movies and motorcycles podcast because everybody knows I love motorcycles. I love bikes. I love racing. MotoGP is my favorite sport, just motorcycle racing in general. But also my passion, hey girls, my passion is movies, and I love movies. And I'm gonna tell you guys 5 great movies to watch on Netflix or Fandango.com. 5 great movies to watch. There's a movie called The Wrong Missy with David Spade, and the actress Lauren Lapkus is incredible. She's like a female Jim Carrey from hey, look, the cops. Look, remember we just talked about that? The cops come by and they can hear me. If they do a U-turn, I'm out of here. If those kids, there he is, officer, right in there. Anyway, so the movie The Wrong Missy, great movie. It's funny. It's silly funny. It's with David Spade, Nick Swartz, and Lauren Lapkus steals the show, man. She is great. She never goes for the same joke twice. And like, you know, Jim Carrey, all the movies he's done, he's never done the same kind of thing twice, which is incredible. When all you have is your body and your facial expressions and everything, and you never go through the same well twice. That's people don't know how incredible that is, how awesome it is. So Lauren Lapkus in The Wrong Missy, great movie. Watch it if you want a good gut laugh. On Amazon, maybe the most perfect movie ever, Troop Zero. I can't describe to you how this movie is almost perfect. It's with Jim Gaffigan, Viola Davis. I'm saying Viola Davis, Jim Gaffigan, Mike Epps, and this movie is almost the perfect movie. If you get a chance, while it's set in the 70s, it's just a good, feel-good movie. Kind of a family movie, but they have some stuff in it. You go, oh my God, watch that movie. Great movie. The Invisible Guest. This is a Spanish movie, and you guys don't give me that. I'm American, man. Watch The Invisible Guest on Netflix. By the way, Troop Zero is on Amazon. Troop Zero is on Amazon. I'm Amazon Prime. The Invisible Guest it's a Spanish movie, and I cannot begin to recommend you how great this movie is. And the great thing about foreign movies, watch it in the original language, not like the Japanese movies where they go, I must go. I will defeat you. Watch it in the original language, whatever. Read the subtitles, and it will make you focus on the movie. Because sometimes, if you watch a movie at home, and I'm guilty of this. Maybe you're a little bored. You go to the phone, you get a text or something, and you'll miss a part. With a foreign movie, you got to watch. You got to read everything with the subtitles, so you're focused. You're more focused on a foreign movie. watch The Invisible Guest. This movie is incredible. It's a Spanish movie. Watch that movie. Whatever Happened to Monday? This movie, another Netflix movie. It's with Nomi Rapace. I hope I'm saying it right. She was also in the Swedish movies about the one that sung The Hornet's Nest. She was in that trilogy. This is one of the greatest actresses of our time that no one talks about. She was also in Prometheus. This movie is incredible. Watch Whatever Happened to Monday. You know me, I don't give too much away in the plot. Trust me, watch this movie. It's set in the future. I think it was filmed in Romania. I think Bucharest. I think. Great movie. Watch that movie. It's so creative. And William Dafoe's also in the movie. So get a chance, watch that movie. Watch, and it's another movie. It's a French movie. It's called The Wolf's Call. It's almost like Red October. It's the French version of Red October. Great movie. And it's, again, subtitles, but it makes you more focused. Watch that movie. Great movie. So, yeah. So those are my suggestions for movies if you guys are locked up like I am. You can't go anywhere or whatever. So, in the meantime, I guess, can we bring our guest in, man? Is it about time? Yeah, I'm going to text my guest. I'm so excited about my guest. It's coming on. Okay, we're going to bring you in now. That's cool. We're going to bring you in now. Hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me, sweetie?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, right now I'm introducing to you the bad little mama from Marienvelde, Netherlands. A 3-time world champion bicycle racer, a 2-time junior national world champion from the Netherlands, Anneke Beerten. How you doing, Anneke?
Good morning. I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Hey, first of all, did you have your breakfast? I know how cranky you are when you don't have your breakfast. Did you have your breakfast?
I did my workout. I had my breakfast. I'm all good to go.
Well, that's good. See, I did my yoga, and then I I got on the bike, the indoor bike, and I did sprint training on my indoor bike. And you know what? Honestly, I swear, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Ever since I met you, every time, and I do mean every time I get on a bike, and I mean every time I get on a bike, I think of you in some way or another. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
That's awesome.
No,
I hope in a good way.
No, that's the effect you have on me. And this is okay. And to set things up for our viewers, by the way, this is Anneke Beerten, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, one of the greatest people you'll ever meet. Because I remember I was in the Netherlands. I was in Holland at Assen Raceway, one of the greatest racetracks in the world. It's classic. They're some of the greatest battles ever. So I'm at Alpine Stars, eating them out of house and home, which I'm known to do. And so I was eating, and everybody at my table, they go, "Who is that?" And I mean, but in a good way, not like creepy pervert, but anyway, who is that? And we knew you did some kind of sport, just the way, you carried yourself. And I was like, yeah, who is that? And we started talking, and there was something about you. And then I remember I was like, oh my gosh. And you said, hey, I'm going to go check out this practice on top of the roof, where the people gather. You want to go? And at that moment, you could have told me to do black tar heroin, and I would have done it for you. I would have bent some spoons up and start lighting them. I mean, that's the effect you had on me. And ever since then, I have been into you and in the bicycle. I went home after that trip to the Netherlands. I went home. I literally went to a bicycle shop the Tuesday afterwards, and I put a bike on layaway. That's what black people do. I put a bicycle on layaway, a high-end bicycle, because at that time you rode for a certain company. I don't want to ruin it if you're still sponsored, if not sponsored by them, but I put a high-end bicycle from the company that you rode for at the time. They were sponsoring me. Just because of you, I specifically looked for that bicycle, put a layaway down, and ever since then, I've been bicycling. Every time I step on a bike, I think of you.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. I love it. Yeah, that's amazing.
But you know what? It's because, and here's what I really love about you is like, you being you've inspired so many girls to be a bicycle racer. I mean, I looked at the clips, and it's like kids gravitate towards you, and you're like a role model for everybody, not just girls. But I love that girls look at you, and you're such a strong female role model. Now, does that put pressure on you, or do you embrace that, or does it make you feel like, I can't do this because I'm on social media, and what if these girls see it and it breaks their heart?
No, I think that's the whole thing that inspires me, like especially the last couple of years, that is something that like I get a lot of stoked out of it, like
Hmm.
meeting the younger girls and kids like at the races, or they come up to you and they're like, "Oh, I follow you on social media," or like, "Oh, I'm such a big fan." That's awesome. That's like that like I have the possibility through like social media, like to inspire other kids and girls to ride bikes, or even like meeting you, like it's just natural. It's in me, I have the passion of cycling, or, anything on wheels. And as long as I can like share that with other people and get other people stoked on it, I'm happy. It's such a great thing to do. And that I'm able to do it, like you said, I'm just a country girl from the Netherlands. I grew up in the middle of nowhere, and
I
I
love that.
I got pretty far and everything, and I love what I do, and to be able to actually inspire people is pretty awesome. Yeah.
The thing that impressed me the most when I met you, other than you being drop dead gorgeous, is the fact that you were just so. Talking to you was so effortless, but you knew it was genuine. And that, sometimes that doesn't come off with some people. You just know, okay, they're doing it to be, I can't say fake, but it's kind of maybe a little bit of an act. But with you,
Yeah.
it's always been the same. And here's what I remember also about you is that for some reason you left and went someplace else. And when I saw you again at Alpine Stars, you go, "Hey, I went to Dovey's garage and I touched his butt." And I just go, "Oh, that's nice." Do you remember that? You said you went to Dovey's garage and you touched his butt. And for a split second, I swear I
Must
got
have been like an accident or something, like
no,
bumping into him.
no,
I'm so
no,
sorry.
no. You
How did
said
that
that.
happen?
You meant that on purpose because I remember I liked you and you said it, and for a split second I got jealous, like you touched his butt, and I just remember I was like, "Why didn't you touch my butt?" I remember that, and I was kind of heartbroken, but I thought it was kind of funny because you just said it kind of matter of factly. Yeah, I touched Dobie's butt, and I was like, "Well, good for you."
Oh gosh,
I felt like a
fun
scorned lover.
times.
I felt like a scorned lover. Like, man, she touched his butt. I thought we were doing great.
Probably wasn't really planned.
No, but like I said, that is the effect I think that you have on people, and I could see you being an ambassador for not only the sport but just for other things. I mean, the way you live your life, and here's what I like about you also is you kind of pull back the curtain. I mean, a lot of like motorcycle racers and athletes period in their training, they kind of like leave it closed. Like I remember asking a lot of athletes, especially like motorcycle racers, "Hey, what's your training like?" And they'll just go, "Well, and they never really tell you or show you. And I remember watching your video of you on a stationary bike and you had the little tube in your mouth, and man, you were like and you were breathing hard. I was like, "Oh my God." You and you don't shy away from saying, "Hey, I'm not very comfortable going downhill on the rocky, like in the Alps." You were training in the Alps, and you could hear you on your GoPro going, "Oh God, oh God." And I thought that was so revealing in that somebody like you're a professional and you go through it. You show your crashes. You show like, okay, I'll be okay. And you get up and you get back on the bike. How do you do that? I mean, seriously, how do you like show that? Like I said, behind the curtain, and this is me, and yeah, I'm not afraid to show that I do crash, and I'm not very comfortable doing this, but yet and still you embrace that fear.
I think from the beginning on, when like the whole social media thing started, like the thing that I keep telling to myself, and I do that until this day, is like you gotta stay you gotta be you. You can't, like, I don't want to be faking it. I don't want to put stuff up that I don't feel comfortable with, or that is like only showing the good sides of everything, like it's cool running races, but all the work that goes in front of that is like
Yes.
so much more, like you said, like doing one of those VO2 max tests.
Yes.
Texting, it's like I'm dreading that the weeks before, like I'm like, I'm not looking forward to that, because I know I'll probably end up almost puking, but I have to do it in order to get better, like I have to know how fit I am before the season, and I have to know if I have to work in like some areas in my conditioning or training. And then yeah, with the GoPro stuff, it's like, of course I'm often like scared, like where I roll into sections and I'll be like, oh my God, like what are they throwing me down this weekend? It's like, holy shit. But it's like, it's something it is part of what I do, and that's the part I love as well. You know, I gotta conquer that again. I gotta, you know, get myself together and make sure I find the lines down the steep parts or the steep downhills or rocky sections, and you know, it's part of the job, and you try to show people that what it actually really is. You know, it's not just only like flowing down a hill, and that I don't have any fears. I have fears too, you know. So
I
you know,
think that,
trying
and
to,
that's what I think is beautiful about you. Honestly, is that when I remember, like I said, man, I basically have been stalking you since the day I met you. But luckily, you know, you're either in the Netherlands or you're in California, so it's like, you know, you won't file charges on me. But I've stalked you through your videos, and when you did that VO2 test, that's when I
yeah.
went, wow, that's what it takes to be a champion. Then you show your powerlifting and everything you've done. I was like, man, and I remember watching the video, like I said, where you crashed, and I was like, whoa. And it's like that's what I like about you. You show what it takes to be a champion, because you are literally a champion. Like I said, you don't become a 3-time world champion without your bumps and bruises, and you show that. You show that the
Yeah.
path is not always rocky. And you said this before you won your first world championship, I think in 2011, I think,
Mhm.
where you said before that you basically sucked. You said, you know, like you weren't finishing races like you wanted to, and you think, is this really for me? You had your moment of doubts, but
Yeah.
you basically met that challenge. And I
Mhm.
think that's what I find so inspiring about you, is like you show you're just a regular person who happens to work hard, and this is what happens if you work hard.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I always think like I might have like lacked a little bit of in some areas of my life when it comes to like everybody has their own strength, you know, and I had a lot of skills, but I would lack in power a lot of times. I always, like I say, like I have these chicken legs, and I can try to squat and like try to squat as much as I can, and my legs just don't grow, you know, they just kind of always stay the same. So I really had to focus on the aspects that would like I would excel in, and you gotta, you know, believe in that as well, and you gotta work for it. You know, you gotta get up every morning and get after it for sure. And then especially like you said as well, the years that I was leading up to that World Championships title, I started doubting myself like crazy because
Yes.
or I crashed or I got second or third, and it took me a long time to actually win that World Championships title in elite mountain biking, you know. And the moment that I did win it, I like so much pressure fell off of me because it was so hard for other people to imagine what was going through my mind, like leading up every year to the World Championships. It's just that one race and a few seconds of my life that everything has to fall into plan, you know?
Yes.
And there are people
Yes.
come up to you before and they're like, "Oh, are you gonna win it this year? You know, how are you feeling? Are you
Yeah.
sure?" Like, and you're like, "Oh, come on, like I'm trying, you know, I'm trying, you know, and I want to, like, don't, I'm not slacking because like I really want to win it, you know." But yeah, that was pretty intense. Like I think like at some points it was like driving my mind crazy. Like I was like driving somewhere and all I could think about is like the race already. You know, you're brushing your teeth and I'm thinking about the race, and I was like, man, I want to stop thinking about this race. I just want to win it, you know. But when I did win it, you know, it was awesome.
Okay, so what did you do? What was the jump mentally that you took? Because you know, like what I do is honestly, I relate everything to sports. That's what gets me through
Mhm.
life. I tell people you got to mind fuck your way through life when you become an adult. Because when you're a kid, until a certain age, everything's fun. You know, there's that freeness, and then once you become an adult, it's like, oh god, I got these bills to pay. So for me to get through life, honestly, and for me to get through life, I pretend I'm a professional athlete, and I pretend I'm a MotoGP racer. I really do. So when I wake up, I do my stretches, and then I get on my bicycle because of you. I get on my indoor bike. I warm up
Mhm.
like 10 minutes, and then I get on the road and ride my road bike. And I think of you every now and then. But when I start doing mountain biking, honestly, I remember the first time I did mountain biking, and my chest was screaming, and I felt I didn't have any lungs. And I go, and I think I did on my video I posted. I go, I got to give Anneke a shout out because how does she do this? So what was the mental leap you took between 2010 and 2011 to get you over the hump? You go, okay, this is what a champion does.
I just kept going. That's all I did, and I kept believing that I was actually going to win it one day, you know.
Mhm.
And I remember like even the day off the race, I decided to change my gears on the bike. So I went into like I made some small changes, which was like pretty risky because I was training with a certain gear.
Mhm.
And then I changed it before the race, and I just felt confident. I just like, this is the change I have to make. This is what I have to do. Like I have to be quick out of the gate, and like all the little things. And you just, yeah. I remember like snapping the gate in the final, and I went brakeless into the first berm, and like I hold on to the bike, and I was like, oh, I better not fuck it up now. You better just like, God, make it happen. And I remember almost going over the bars in this middle section where there was like a rock garden. But I just like, I hold on, and managed to cross the line,
Oh,
winning. So, but yeah, mentally, it's just like, I think I never gave up. I knew that like I wasn't not gonna stop racing until I won that world
that's
championships
beautiful.
title. So
So
yeah.
it's the little things and not giving up. That's what you're saying. Because like you said,
Yeah.
you changed gears right before, and maybe that was it. You think that was like maybe a metaphor of, okay, let me change this, and that was a little
Yeah,
click.
maybe, but I also yeah, but I think like you cannot go like, any athlete cannot go into a race thinking that they're not going to win it,
Right.
because if you're already like going into a race and you'd be like, I'm not going to win it, or like, oh, why show up, like
Right.
mentally you got to tell yourself like, okay, I'm going to try everything I can. I have the possibility to win. There's anything can happen, like your fierce competitor can, I don't know, get a flat tire, or like something can happen, so you always got to prepare of like that you see yourself, you vision yourself like being on the podium.
So I know you go through a lot of visualization practices. Now, here's the thing about it is, I know you worked at a record store before you turned pro. So, is there any music you listen to maybe get you in the zone? Like, is there anything like maybe new age, or maybe like maybe some I don't know, whatever Zen?
I do, yeah. Yeah,
What do
I
you listen
have a
to?
few songs. Yeah, I definitely have like a few songs that I kind of put on. I definitely don't put on like Adele or something, or Bruno Mars.
You'll
It's
start
messed up.
crying at the gate. You put on Adele, you start crying. Oh, I miss
Hello.
him. So what kind of music do you listen to? What do you listen to? Because whatever
I
whatever
like
whatever you listen to, I'll listen to, because that's the way it works. Whatever you do, I'll do it. Whatever you
oh
do.
man, I just have a few songs that I really like to play when like I'm getting ready for racing. One is like Stevie Nicks,
Which one?
just like a white winged dove.
Oh, just like a wide-winged dove, sing the song, sounds like she's singing. Ooh, baby, woo.
Yeah.
Yes. What's the
Yeah.
name? It's called Edge of 17. Yes,
Yes, there it
Edge
is.
of
Yeah.
How about
And
you?
then
Okay, what else? What
Please
else?
Don't Stop Me Now.
Okay, okay. And what else?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, like I have a few songs that I always like, okay, I'm like, that will get me going, that will get me fired up, or Metallica or something like that. Like definitely like more into rock and like old, I wouldn't say old school, but more like, yeah, not yeah, something like that.
Metallica's Fuel. If you listen to Metallica's Fuel,
Oh,
you will want to
yeah.
ride a marathon. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Ooh,
Exactly.
yeah.
How can you not like?
And Motley Crue, Kickstart My Heart. Motley Crue, Kickstart My Heart. Metallica's Fuel. If those two don't get you going, you're a dead man. You're a dead person, and you should even get on a bicycle. If you listen to
Yeah.
those two songs, they'll get you where. But actually, sometimes I think to get you in the mood, even doing what you do, wouldn't it be advantageous to maybe go against the grain, listen to something more calming? Because that storm is about to come, so maybe you need something to
Mhm.
get you like, okay, I need to slow my heart rate down. I know what I'm about to do. I'm about to do the
Yeah.
big.
I think that all depends on kind of like how you're feeling at the moment. Sometimes you just feel fired up, but sometimes you kind of feel stressed and you can't control your breathing.
Yeah.
But that's when I try to like think about like breathing or meditate a little bit, or not play any music, to like
Yes.
really focus in the moment and not try to get distracted with what's happening around me,
Right.
so just really be in the zone. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of like depending on the race and how you're feeling, I would say. But I mean, definitely music is a big part of my life, and it would always be.
Okay, well, okay. Take racing aside. When you're working in at the record store, when you're 20, everybody else is footloose and fancy free, and you're like, "Oh, I should go pro." Who was it you listened to back in your day? I mean, just for fun, being just Anneke, not the bicycle racers, Anneke, the Anneke, and having a good time, just a fun-loving country girl. Who was your favorite artist back then?
Oh my God, I played so many different like Music. I would say I would listen a lot to Kate Bush,
Okay, okay.
Sade, and there was always like this. Back in the day, we would put like a DVD on. There was like this unplugged version of Stained.
Okay.
Uh, that's like the rock band, but they had this unplugged, and I always put it on.
With Fred Durst, that song,
Yeah,
I'm on you.
outside on the
Yeah,
outside.
I'm on the outside, I'm looking in.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, I love that song.
I
Yes,
know, but then I also would love to put on like a Frank Sinatra or something.
really.
Yeah, so like I can't like I the only thing I'm not really into is country music, and now since I moved to the US, people are like trying to get me. I'm like I don't know, I just can't really do it.
But
So
you're a country girl. You're
I know, but there's a difference between like, for example, like European Schlager music and country music. It's not really the same, you know. So
I think that's incredible. That you grew up in the country, you're a country girl, and don't like country music. I'm telling you, country music, and take it from me. Trust me, I don't like a country fan, but I am. But listen to old country. That's the best. Listen to
oh, I do. Yeah, I mean, there is some old country I would say that I definitely
like
do
who?
like. What's Nelson,
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson, which is
Yes.
pretty awesome. Like that stuff, I definitely like.
I'm on the
Um,
road again. Understand when
exactly.
again on the
Yeah,
road
yeah.
again.
So I guess I can't really pin it down on that.
Okay, well, listen, here's your homework assignment. You listen to Waylon Jennings, okay? Waylon
Okay.
Jennings, Johnny Paycheck has a song called, I forget the name, I can't think of it now, but listen to Johnny Paycheck, listen to Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash. And after that,
Oh, Johnny Cash. Yeah, I mean,
and
love
and,
Johnny
and
Cash.
then report back to me. And
Yeah,
Hank Williams Jr.,
Hank Williams Jr. Okay, okay.
okay?
I will look it up and I'll play it.
Okay, well, okay, now what kind of music do you like now? Because I know you're a different person now. What do you like
Yeah.
now? Like what do you like? Like your go-to? Like if you had to, boom, this is the music you listen to.
Um. Dang, you put me on a spot here.
That's what I do, girl. That's what I do.
I know. I just the thing is, there's so much out there nowadays.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't even know. Like, I put stuff in the playlist that I hear that are more like kind of. I have no idea how to answer this one. There's like so much stuff out there, but let me think. I would definitely. I just listen to a lot of like 80s still.
80s
I
is
love
such good
Pearl
music.
Jam. The
Yes.
new album of Pearl Jam. Like I actually had tickets to go to Pearl Jam, but unfortunately that got postponed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like their new album. God, I don't even know. I like the Florence and the Machine, for example.
Yes. I
Love
love Florence and the Machine. I heard them in a
that.
bar here, and I was like, "Who is?" I mean, I love music. I mean, I love all. And it's funny because whenever I travel internationally, it's weird. Like whenever I go overseas, I try to get the local station, and when I hear that one song, I'll download it. So when I'm here, I listen to it. It takes me
Same.
back there mentally. You know what I mean? And that's why I
Yeah.
love them. And I remember hearing a song. And I think it was Florence and the Machine. I heard them over there, and I was like, it was no, it was Roots by I think it's Karen Merchant. They go, I got
Ooh.
no roots. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I heard that in Austria, and I always think of Austria when I hear that song. I always
And
think
that's the great thing about music, because we always put like
it's
a
a soundtrack.
memory to it. You know, I had the
It's a
same
soundtrack.
thing about.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
soundtrack to your life. You know, it's what it
yeah,
is.
it is.
That's why always, if you notice, I don't know, I don't really go to clubs, but they always put on either 80s or 90s music because that's the music. I can't say it's the best music, but people can really relate to that. It hits you in the heart. Like the 2000s were great, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing that really sticks there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The 80s and 90s. Who doesn't like the Backstreet Boys? Everybody, yeah. Who doesn't get into that? Everybody like the Backstreet Boys. Everybody like,
Spice Girls, come on.
come on, Michael Jackson. Wanna be starting something?
Big fan of Michael. I actually went to see Michael Jackson.
How old were you? How old were you?
I was 16.
Oh my! Did you freak out?
Oh my God, I was one of the little girls that was screaming.
I wish I could have been there to see that. That would have
It
been
was
beautiful.
cool though, because like I was such a big fan, and I remember my first CD that I got for my birthday was like History, and I was like so stoked that was my birthday present. You know, I got a CD,
Yes.
and it was the best gift ever. Yeah, and I went like in the middle of the night. I went to like the ticket office. We had to sleep outside to get tickets, and I got a ticket because everybody wanted a ticket. And it wasn't like you had to go online. You actually had to go to the ticket
Yeah.
office and sleep outside and waited in line to actually get a ticket.
Wow.
So
Old
yeah, that was
school.
pretty cool.
You went
Yeah, that was
old
super
school. But you're a
old
country
school.
girl, so that was
I
nothing.
mean,
That was
I was
nothing.
all the way in the back. I mean, he looked like this big, but I can say I got to see Michael.
It doesn't
So,
matter. You were there. You were okay.
exactly.
So who's the best in your opinion? Michael Jackson or Prince? If you had to pick, Michael Jackson or Prince?
Oh man, I can't pick.
Yeah, you can. You have to. You have to.
Okay, I'll go Michael Jackson.
Oh, but Prince? Really?
Well, just because of the whole package. The whole package.
I love how you put your hands there too. The whole package. Do you know more about Michael Jackson than we think you do?
No, because I think his music videos, his dancing, his all of that, and I think I do like Prince. I do have a lot of vinyl as well, and I have a lot of Prince on there. Like
Mhm.
I love it. I would just say like I played it more when I was younger. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say Michael Jackson was definitely the person that I would like. You watch
Okay.
over and over all the music videos that were like 15 minutes long, and you're just like, oh my god. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Well, speaking of that, I know you turned pro at 20, whatever. You had that decision to go, do I stay at the record store? Do I go pro? And you went pro,
yeah,
and the rest is history as far as that goes. But during that time, and I've never heard this. I did my homework on you and watch everything possible on you. But it was one thing you never reveal is like, and you don't have to if you don't want to, but has there ever been like a relationships, like how did that work? Because like I said, I mean, you see you and you're like, oh my gosh, this girl here. But you also, what's great about you, and you said this, you have structure and goals in your life and you want to achieve them, and you've basically done that. But if you watch The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, there's a price to be paid when you're a champion. And sometimes, you had to sacrifice. Is it a love life you sacrifice? Or have you met people you're like, oh, I really like this person, but this is what I do. And if they can't get with that, then hey, it was nice to meet you. I mean, how does that work when meeting someone? Because I know in your line of work and looking the way you do and doing and having that great personality that you have on top of that and just being genuine, I'm sure you've had to meet some people that were like into you, but racing got in the way or whatever. Has that ever happened to you?
yeah. But it's kind of funny because that it shows how strong the power of social media is,
Mm-hmm.
and I keep that part very private.
Yes, you do. I know
Yeah,
nothing about you that way. I know
I
nothing about
know.
you that way, you
Kind of
know?
funny. Yeah, I always kept it that way, and I'll try to keep it that way. But no, I was in a long I was in a long relationship when about like from 24 till 30 till I was 32. Yeah, I lived together with my boyfriend back in the day, and yeah, I had a great relationship with him. He was a coach, and everything worked out great. Only like the last couple of years of our relationship, we kind of went both our own ways, our own direction. We were very busy with living our own lives and traveling, and yeah, the spark wasn't there anymore. So we decided to go our own way, and I went to the U.S. and he's still in the Netherlands. We still talk. We're still friends. We just it just didn't work out anymore when it came down to the relationship. But yeah, I always keep it kind of private, and it is definitely thing that is of course a big part of your life. You want to
Yes.
have find the right person, the guy on the white horse that comes along,
Is
or on the dirt bike, or on the bike, bike.
yeah. Do you still think that way? I mean, and I never say older, but I say career-wise, you're more mature now, and I
Yeah,
think you've even mentioned that, you got the new guns coming in, trying to take you off, and
yeah,
sometimes even that is a challenge for you, but it also inspires you, to become better and show them, hey, these young guns, I'm still here. But
yeah.
in that, is there a part of you that kind of like it says, you know what, maybe it's time to have maybe more fun, where instead of training, you go, well, maybe, it wouldn't be a bad thing to go on a date here, or maybe meet somebody and do this, and maybe shorten a career up and do this instead of always traveling and racing and bringing the bike.
Yeah, I kind of let everything go by its own path, like,
Yeah.
let things happen the way they are. I'm not on dating apps or whatever to, swiping. I feel like I'm already so busy, and I'm pretty happy in the moment I am right now. Like I
Right.
feel everything is there's no stress, there's no fighting, there's, nothing. that I feel like is not like, I don't feel, how do I word that right? Like, I feel like I'm okay where I'm at in life right now, you
Right.
know? And
Right.
like, some people might say like, oh, you're already 37, you know, shouldn't you be thinking about your future?
Right.
Well, I kind of look at it differently. I'm more like, I'm only 37. If I meet the guy of my dreams, I still have to like spend the rest of my life with him. And that's a lot of meals. That's a lot of sleepovers, you know?
Yeah.
That's a lot of time I still have to spend with that person.
You
So
know,
I don't
go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
know.
ahead.
I just don't feel rushed in that way. And I think a lot of people make that mistake. You know, they make that
Yes.
mistake of feeling lonely and rushing into something that they're not 100% behind. And, you know, I think I'm a little bit in a different situation too because of what I do, you know, like
Right.
it must be intimidating for a lot of guys when they meet me and they look at my social media and they're like, oh my God, like, look at this girl. She's like, you
Not
know,
me.
she's
Not me. Not me. I'm not intimidated at all. Not
not
me at all.
everybody, but in general, I would say.
I know.
So, you know, and I'm the same way because I'm like, well, you know, if I find a guy, I would love to have him go ride with me and go camp and
Yes.
ride dirt bikes, you know. So it's
Yes.
kind of like you have to find the right person, and I just think like, yeah, I don't feel like you should rush it.
Well,
That's it.
I always feel that, and everybody's different, don't get me wrong, but I always feel that the more, like you said, structure and have goals, especially for a woman, I think, where is like, hey, I want to do this and before, you know, because your career in this is kind of limited. I mean, it's going to last a certain amount. You can
Yeah,
prolong it, but eventually it's going to end. So I think when a woman has structured goals, and I think women in sports can attest to this more, at least I can relate to, like, okay, this is what my life is. Like you said, I went to bed at 9 o'clock so I can wake up early and do this and that. And when you're structured like that, is you have goals, you're not, and I hate to say subservient, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but most women, and I'm throwing it out there, I might get in trouble, I don't care, and I don't mean it to sound the way it sounds, but most women, and I think, I'm just going by the United States, is, you know, find a guy, find a man, and settle down. And I don't really think they so much look for that guy on the white horse. Is that okay? I got a man now. I got a man, so I'm good, and let's get married. And I think relationships can be so limiting if you don't find that person. Like, okay, that's what I want. If not, I just
yeah,
think that people. I thanks, buddy. I think that people don't, you know, they settle so much. And, you know, and like, I'm the same way. I'm a little bit older than you, and I feel the same way. It's like some people look at me like a loser, but it's like, hey, man, you know, I've been there before. Where I have relationships where I should have known it wasn't going to go anyplace. And then 2 years later, I'm in the same place because I tried to make this work when I knew damn
yeah.
well it wasn't going to work, you know?
Yeah. And I think for me, it was something that it was important too, to like make sure that I can take care of myself, you know, like, not necessarily, it would be nice to have a partner that can help you out with certain things. Like,
Yes.
don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but it's also very nice that I was able to, um, you know, build this life by myself and on my own. And what
Yes.
you often see as well, what happens is when people start, you know, dating or getting in a relationship, they take things away from that other person. Like,
Yeah.
I do understand that you do
Yes.
want to hang out with each other and you want to spend time, but I keep telling myself that if I do get in a new relationship, it's very important that you let the person do his own thing and you still do your own thing. You know,
Yes.
it's not like you have to all of a sudden say like, oh, you can't go out with your friends anymore, or like go fishing or whatever your friend is doing, or your
Yes.
boyfriend,
Yes.
because like you can, of course you want to like spend time together, but I think it's very important to still have like your own things and keep doing what you really love, you know. So and nobody is like, now there's nobody in my life that is not letting me do that, you know. If I
Right.
want to go ride dirt bikes tomorrow, I ride dirt bikes tomorrow. If I want to go camping with other friends, or, you know, do something else, I can.
That's
Like, don't get
beautiful.
me wrong, I would like to find that person
Yes.
that wants to do all of that with me.
Yeah. You mean like right here? Yeah, I know what you mean.
But
I mean,
okay.
I know what you mean. I really do. I understand that. So,
Yeah.
okay, well, let me ask you this. Okay, if you could, like Weird Science, if you could construct the perfect man for you, that's Frankenstein. We're gonna construct the perfect man for you. Okay, they give you the blueprint, everything, physical, mental, personality. How would he be? Go. The perfect
Oh,
man. You're gonna Frankenstein him.
Frankenstein. I'm gonna build him up.
You're gonna build the perfect man. Weird
I'm
Science.
gonna build the perfect man.
What's
Oh man, that's really hard to tell. I think a lot will be about like what he does, his character. I don't like guys that get very loud.
Oh damn, I'm
Like
gone. I'm gone. I'm
not
out.
in that way,
I'm,
but you know what I mean. Like, what else? Yeah, they have to ride, obviously.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, they have to be outdoorsy.
Okay.
And it would be nice if they're a little bit handy because then they can fix stuff for me in the house.
Well, I'm done there. I'm done there. I'm not good. I can make a phone
No, I
call.
don't know. It's very difficult to like uh to to yeah, I don't know. That's hard. I just have I always have these little weird things that I go like, well, if a guy can't drive like a stick shift, then I don't know if we get along. It's
and
like
then
how
and then you constantly, and then you little by little start losing respect for him. Like I can't do this.
can imagine if I sit in the car next to a guy that like is like can't he's driving like grandpa, and I'm like, yeah, you and I are not gonna work out, you know. So I'm sorry, it's just not gonna.
I think that is great. No, no kidding. Yeah, it's always it's the little things. It's the little things. It's the little things.
I heard Daniel Ricardo is still single, so hey, if you got his phone number, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call him up and to have him go out with you, so I can be brokenhearted. You know, twice. You're gonna do me wrong twice. How could you?
Help a girl out here.
I'm just joking. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm gonna go to the fun part of the interview. Let's go with the crunchy or smooth when it comes to peanut butter. Because I know you like peanut butter sandwiches. So crunchy or smooth?
Smooth.
Oh, see, I knew it. We're meant for each other. Okay, can you say jewelry yet?
Jewelry.
I saw a video where you couldn't say jewelry, and I thought that was the most hilarious thing. Jewelry? Can you say jewelry?
Jewelry. Jewelry. I know. It's so difficult.
Okay. Okay. Now here's I wanted your advice on this. Now my roommate, she has a son who's 5, and she bought him he's got a motorcycle, a little 50, and he's also has a bicycle, and they both have training wheels. And she took the training wheels off the motorcycle once, and he fell like 3 times. And so then I think he got him a little scared. So he put the training wheels back on, and he still rides the training wheels on his bicycle, but he's like a little scared. What would you do to encourage him to take the training wheels off? In your position, what would you do, or what would you go about that? Because we want him to take the training wheels off, and we say we got him and run with him. But how would you encourage us to do that?
I would definitely, yeah, like you said, like do take the training wheels off, you know, like you just have to get through that little phase of like being scared and getting confident and build his confidence up, and just make sure you're there with him, you know, pat him up, put some elbow pads on, put a helmet on, some gloves, and make sure he feels safe.
Yeah.
And once he get that feeling, I'm sure he'll never forget, you know, that would be the moment where he's like, oh, I got this, you know, I don't need those training wheels. And hopefully he'll be flying off. But I guess like we all, yeah, you get to that moment where it's like scary, or, you know, you're like scared of crashing, but you just got to get through that point.
Okay. That's what we're trying to do. Trying to get him to take the training wheels off and just go. And he's I think when he crashed on the bike, it affected his confidence a little bit. So
a little bit, yeah, probably. But it happens, you know. We all crash. You know, we crash up, and just tell him that, like, you know, I know he's very young, but you know, scars are cool. Chicks dig scars, so.
Chicks dig scars, and they dig a man who can drive a stick. Okay. Okay. Now, also, I know you want to be a nutritionist when this is all over, right? Is that still one of the
I studied food and nutrition, or first like I did normal nutrition, and then I did sports and nutrition. And I got my diploma in that. So yeah, it is something that is on my mind. I would like to do something with that, but I also really like to do more of the coaching and camps and clinics. So the past like 2 years, I've been building up I've been doing more camps and clinics and coaching and with kids. So I really like doing that as well. And I'm kind of now in the middle of, you know, making a slow transfer. I'm still racing. I pick like some big events every year, but next to that, I'm doing more and more events where I'll be, you know, attending for like coaching women or coaching kids and do stuff like that, which I also really enjoy.
So you're basically making a slow transition out, where it's not like a definite, okay, I'm out. It's a slow transition out.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I could ever do that. I often see racers go like, this is my last year. I'm going to retire after this, and that's it. I've never really could imagine myself doing that. I just love racing too much. And I think it would be weird if I'd be like next year, I'm like, okay, this is my very last year. And then there's a race coming up and I'm like, oh, I still want to race.
Yeah.
And then I'll
Yeah.
be showing up at that race again. So I think for me, it's something that I will always kind of be involved in, let me put it that way. So I can't really say when I'm going to stop racing. You know, I'm still, like you said, like the young guns are coming up. They're right behind me. They're ready to swoop me off the podium, but I'm still in the mix. You
You're
know,
still
I'm
here.
still able to.
You
I'm
still
still
here.
there.
You still here, girl.
Still
you
there.
Still here. You ain't going
Yeah.
nowhere. You ain't going nowhere.
I'm rolling up with like one of those walking. You're like,
AB, the original AB still in the house. That's what you got to tell them. The original AB still in the house. And you got to do like a football and do this. Like AB still here. That's what you got to do. Yeah, you got to do that. Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that's also like it's very awesome that I'm still able to do both. You know,
Right.
so the kids see that you're still racing, and then hopefully you inspire them with the coaching and clinics that you're doing. So yeah, it's a little bit of both. Yeah.
Oh, you definitely do that. Like I said, you're very inspiring without even trying. That's the thing. Like, I didn't even just say that just to be saying it. I just remember meeting you and I go, I got to get me a high-end bicycle and start putting it. I did, because I had an old bicycle that I had for a present, like a Christmas present, whatever. And this bike, and I swear to God, this bike, the brakes were bad. So I just took the brakes off and I would forget I didn't have any brakes. And I literally forgot. So one time I was riding and I go, oh yeah, I don't have any brakes. And I went down a hill and the light was going from green to yellow to red. And I remember going through the intersection, going, I don't have any brakes. And then the people got their green light and I got hit. They hit me on the back of the bike and the bike went like this and I kept on going. And I go, phew. But I would forget the bike had no brakes. Seriously, but after meeting you, I said, I'm going to change my life. And I started riding high-end bicycles all because of you, Anneke. So what I want to know is, when are you going to start riding motorcycles, racing motorcycles? I see your great video. Matter of fact, my roommate raced motocross, and I showed her your video, and she goes, oh, yeah, she knows how to ride. So when are you going to start racing motorcycles? That's what I want to know.
Or motorcycles, like dirt bikes, shimmy, motocross?
Yeah. Yes, motocross.
Yeah, motocross. So I just do some stuff in the off season just for fun, and I'm nowhere near like a pro level on that. And something like I enjoy doing, like, you know, we were just saying, like, do some stuff that, like, it's not racing, but it's still racing, but not in the way of like mountain bike racing. You know, there is no pressure of me having to do well, or it's just something I really enjoy doing with my friends. You know, I go out, we have a great group of people that we hang out with at the track, and I race day in the dirt in the winter, and it's just like all these things are just for fun. You know, so that would never be like a goal of mine to become like a professional motocross racer. I always say, like, I rock up as a pro, I look pro, and then I ride off, and they're like, oh my God. No.
Like Deion Sanders said, when you look good, you'll ride good. If you look good,
exactly. I just enjoy it. I enjoy it, and I enjoy like getting better at it as well. I still learn every day. I learn so much, you know, like riding dirt bikes, because I didn't really grow up racing or riding dirt bikes, you know. It was all about the BMX bike. My dad was into motorcycles, but he sold his like motorcycle when I was really young. So I just remember having it in the garage and sitting on it, or my dad would take me out, you know, like a lap around the house on the dirt bike, and I just loved it. And we always go to all the races, you know, all the motocross races, but also like Awesome, where I met you, you know, like that was, my dad would go there every year. And then when I got sponsored by Alpine Stars, they were like hooking me up with these pit passes. And I was like, oh my God, like seriously, you know, like I got to go in the pit, and like I got to show my dad everything, you know, and that was so amazing. Butt.
Yeah. How great is that?
Yeah.
You
also, that was very, like, for me, it's very surreal, you know, like having that, you know, like having a sponsor like Alpine Stars and having them like giving me tickets to go to the TT in Austin, or actually like the year after I won the world champs, they surprised me with the 2-seater on the back of Randy Mamola's.
Oh, I bet you love that.
Oh my God. Like, and I was kind of like joking with Randy, because he's like, oh, we're going to do one lap. And I'm like, one lap? I'm like, come on, dude, like, give me a couple, you know? And I remember like him taking off, popping a wheelie. And I was just like holding on to the gas tank for dear life. And I was like, oh my God. And then like halfway, I had arm
Yes, the
pump
arm
so
pump.
bad.
The arm pump. Yes.
And the G forces like into the corner and out of the corner. And I was just like, couldn't believe it. And he nose wheelie back into the finish line. And I told him like right there, I was like, man, winning world championships was pretty awesome. But I'm like, this was freaking awesome too. Like that was
Yes.
like, and I still see Randy every now and then. And yeah, he's such an amazing guy too.
Randy's
Like
great. Randy's awesome. His whole family is.
so full of passion with what he does,
Yes.
you know, and like people like that are so inspiring. And
Yes.
yeah, so no, that was definitely crazy memories right there.
I think people that live passionate lives are more inspiring just by living that life, because you want to be around. You can tell in Rand, you can tell by talking to Rand, you can tell by talking to you that you love what you do, and that's what makes it that way. That's what makes you go, okay, I want to know their secret or what they're into, and I want to be like that. And that's why I've always been. You know what I mean? So who inspires you as far as like to make you go, I know you follow like Lewis Hamilton on social media and a couple other racers. Like, who inspires you to go, okay, I'm gonna be like, I want to maybe try this training method, or they did that, that inspired you? Because sometimes, you know, we all go through, you know, peaks and valleys in life. That's just life. But who inspires you?
I think Randy would be a good example because
Mm-hmm.
he still he does what he loves and he shares it in a great way and in a funny way.
Yes.
But there are so many people that are inspiring out there. I'm trying to think real quick. Even like a younger generation, because I think Haley Deegan is freaking badass.
Yes.
You know, like
Yes. Yes, she is.
it's so awesome. And I just saw Casey Stoner was his little
With
daughter
that
was in
go-kart.
this go,
Yeah, I
and
got
I was
that. Yes.
just like, that is so that is so awesome. You know, all that stuff is so like inspiring, just like because there's this new generation of badass younger girls coming up, and
Yeah.
they're gonna be fast. You know, like for me
Yes.
when I was a younger girl, we didn't have social media. I didn't know that. Like I you know had to look in magazines or just figuring out myself how to build a jump at home, and you know, nothing really to go off. And now we have the social media, so there's so
Yes.
much more out there to learn from, and yeah, to get inspiration from. So yeah.
Well, that's awesome, Anneke. I can't begin to tell you how. I mean, I was talking to Brittany Morrow last week, and I was like, oh, you know, for what she went through, I said, you're a shero of mine. And I was, you know, being sincere. I mean, she was great what she went through with a motorcycle crash, and she came back, and now she teaches motorcycle classes and safety classes. And I think that was great. But I thought to myself when I was interviewing her, I go, the original shero, the original person who I pinned that to was you. You were the original. Cause I remember going, man, I want to be like this girl. And I remember the initial first shero was Anneke Beerten. After I met her, I said, I want to be like her. And that's what I've been trying to do. And I'm not even blowing smoke up your ass, but every time, if not for a split second, every time I'm on that bike, I think of you. And I think of you on that machine going, and I think of that every time I'm training. And I remember one time I had an indoor training session when it's bad outside. And I remember doing a sprint session, I really sprinted hard, and I thought I was going to pass out on the bike. And I thought, and my mind immediately went to you. I go, that must be what she goes through. And it got me through. So I want to thank you for being an inspiration to not just girls, which I think is great. Don't get me wrong, to girls, but to everybody. And to everybody, I don't care who you are, the inspiration, I don't care, man, woman, boy, girl, black, white, whatever, where you can find is where you find it. And I found my inspiration through you, from being a great athlete, but not so much a great athlete as you are a great person. Every time you follow your thing, you have the greatest smile. You teach people and you help the kids, and it's so genuine. When I saw you, and I think it was after a wedding, you were on those big wheels, and I think maybe you had a little liquid courage, and you guys were on those big wheels in a parking lot. You remember that? I remember that because you posted it, and I laughed and I go, man, that chick is so cool. And I remember that. But I also remember like going to LA every time I flew out to the West.
That wedding.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that?
Yeah, they had the drifter
Yes.
wheel, the three-wheelers, the drifters.
Yes.
Yeah, I did that on my dress, and it wasn't the smartest, but I had the most fun. Everybody was laughing, and it was a good time. And
I could tell.
yeah,
And that's why it was so
"You're in your
genuine.
dress, remember that? I was like, I have the most fun. You guys are just standing there. I don't really care. So I was just like.
I loved it. I thought it was great. And my only beef with you is when I went to the West Coast, we always tried to hook up to go like get something to eat. And I
No.
always thought, and then now I know your schedule. Now I know you weren't just blowing me off, that you were like training to be a world champion. And so I don't feel so bad now. I was like, you know what? Just forget it. I remember we were trying to hook up for like a lunch or something. And well, tell me you're
Yeah,
out
we
here.
did.
And
Yeah.
then you were like, well, I can't do it. And I was like, okay, whatever. I remember going, you know what, whatever. And now that I know how your structure in life is, and how you have to, you train 2 days, two a days and everything. And now I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe she's right. She lives a world championship lifestyle where I'm kind of like I'm like a black hippie, like, yeah, man, whatever, bro. So
No.
yeah, so I apologize to you now. That's the only time I've ever been mad at you. I was like, you know what? I thought she liked me like I liked her, but just forget it. And now I'm like, okay, I get it now.
I'm sorry. I remember we tried, we tried, and then we were, I don't know what, yeah, I think I was traveling or something was
No, you were
happening.
training. You were trained to be the best, is
Training.
what you are. And so, yeah. So I want to thank you for doing this from the bottom of my heart, because I know you got to go train again. I woke you up early and you got your workout in. So I want to say thank you so much for being on this. And I can't wait to this broadcast, because Wyatt, my producer Wyatt, he's another one of those young guns coming up. He's 19, and I listen to everything he says. And here's the other challenge to you. Ever since I met him, he says take a cold shower because it helps your body. So ever since I met him 2 months ago, I've taken a cold shower every day. So from here on out, take cold shower. It helps your body. So take a cold shower. That's what I want you to do. Take the cold shower challenge. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And
Cold shower challenge.
cold
Not gonna
showers.
do it, though.
Take the cold shower, because my producer Wyatt said he's 19, and I listen to him because he's going places, and I'm going to be around his coattails. So Anneke Beerten, thank you so much. Good luck in the rest of the year, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. It has been my pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Yeah, and next time you're around, we will meet up. We will link up. Hopefully, I get to see you at a race again as well. That would be awesome. I can't wait to go back to Austin, and I just hope we all get back to somewhat a normal life soon, and can go back to racing, and
Yes.
yeah, can hang out and see everybody again, because I'm sure everybody's at home struggling kinda, and
Yeah.
hang in there. We'll get through it. So
And we'll ride bicycles or motorcycles together, and it's going to be my pleasure.
and it's gonna be a whole lot of fun, because bikes are fun.
Yes.
Bikes are awesome.
Thank you, baby. I appreciate you. Have a great day, sweetie. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you, you too. Big hug.
Hugs and kisses. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to Tales from a Gemini with my special guest, Anneke Beerten. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Follow her on social media. Go to her website. Go to her Twitter. It's Anneke Beerten. Like I said, she's very inspirational. You'll love her videos. And so thank you so much for listening, man. For Tales from a Gemini, I'm BT. Thank you so much. Have a great day and be good to each other. Peace.